Both players already are going to be getting this started. It is going to be game number 2 of this best of 3, excuse me, not best of 7, best of 3 between NoRegret and PigBenis. This time it is going to be on Ohana. NoRegret taking game number 1 after some very nice Zergling Baneling timing attacks on the map Abaddon Blaze. So we'll have to see how our pink Zerg, which is spawning up here in the top left, responds to that game 1 loss. Will he continue to play greedy, or will he go for something a little bit different? He is spawning in the top left position of the map, Ohana. He is PigBenis.
Alright, so at the bottom right, his opponent is going to be the purple Zerg player. NoRegret and Regret changing his colors up this time. Went from green to purple. So I wonder if this is going to dictate what kind of strategy he wants to go for.
The colors play such a huge part in this game, Buddha. Such a huge part. Mind games, yo.
Mind games. Don't get me started. Oh god. Alright, so we do have neither player cheesing. Let's do that. Yeah.
I was gonna actually ask you, since we're still on the subject of colors, do you think that unlockable colors on ladder would be like kind of something that people might want to go for? I'm bringing this up because Heart of the Swarm is like introducing, for those of you that do not know, a lot of like interesting features like custom skins, custom decals, a lot of like arbitrary cosmetic things that you can unlock for your race via the XP system and some of like just like win streaks and so on and so forth. Would being able to use different colors on ladder actually be a reward that you as a Masters random player might actually want to go for?
No. Well, yeah, but I feel like it should be for weird things. You know what I mean? Like, stupid things, maybe. Like, I don't know. The crazy, stupid achievements. You know how there are some that are, like, get, like, 12 kills with the Yamato cannon in a game or something?
That's actually really hard, by the way.
I know! Like, really stupid things. Unless you're, like, I don't know, but I would want it to be, like, for, if you're not, like, trolling and just joining a game with your friend to unlock achievements or whatever, you know? Like a real game.
Yeah.
But, looks like Regret actually blocked Pig's hatchery for quite a while there and had to go pool first, where Regret has decided to go hatch first, and a very late pool at, like, 17 supply, going pool straight into his gas here, so a little bit of greedy play from Regret, and both players are now going to see the timings of the hatcheries. Regret having already seen it, but Pig is now going to know that hatch first came out from Regret.
Yeah, I mean, he probably knew that what Regret was doing the moment that he saw the drone block. I mean, this is really, like I said before, what was I just like using that comparison to? Zerg vs. Zerg is a big game of chicken in the early game, and Regret is trying to force his opponent to not make that hatchery, to make something other than drones. And now it's going to be the reverse situation. Now Regret, or Pig, knows exactly what Regret is doing. He knows that he threw down that hatchery first. He knows that his spawning pool is a lot later, and that gas is a lot later, so speed's going to be a lot later. That's going to give Pig a window of opportunity where he can abuse his opponent's immobility, his opponent's lack of defense. But if he doesn't somehow punish him, Regret's going to have an economic lead, no doubt about it. That hatchery is going to provide so much additional larva, and that additional queen timing is just going to allow him to just get his economy up so much faster than Pig does. So is Pig actually going to respond with some aggression, or is he just kind of try and go overboard with the drones, thinking that Regret might not counterattack him?
Yeah, we're actually seeing a little bit of a weird build out of Regret. He actually is not going for Zergling speed with that first 100 gas. We may see a lair as soon as his first queen finishes, and something crazy like maybe really fast mutas, or what? He's going for +1 armor straight off the back.
I love this build from Regret. This is something that my brother does a lot. My brother being a higher level Zerg player than myself. This is for it could be used in multiple ways. If he throws down speed, this is definitely going to be a big aggressive move from Regret. That +1 armor might not seem like much, but what it allows a Zergling to do is withstand a single Baneling hit. Again, that doesn't sound like a lot. It actually turns out to be a huge thing in ZvZ. If your Zerglings aren't dying to a Baneling, that means that it takes 2 Baneling hits to kill Zerglings. That means you could go mass Zergling, not necessarily need to use Banelings, and be able to swarm your opponent and win direct engagements because of that +1 armor. So a nice little investment here from NoRegret. It is, however, going to delay his lair, and it is going to prevent him from going for that, or getting his own Baneling nest down at the same time that Pig is going to be going for, but it is going to give him a window of opportunity where he can put on a lot of aggression and Pig is going to be in a situation where he's going to have a hard time holding it.
Alright, well, a lot of lings are coming up for Regret here. 24, actually, making a Baneling nest of his own, of course, like you said. That +1 armor is actually going to time out with speed pretty evenly here. We do have about 40 seconds left on speed and about, 40 seconds left on that +1 armor. So, really cool build thus far. It looks like Regret's going to get a little bit of information going up that ramp. See that Evo Chamber is researching something, and it is going to be +1 armor as well, but like we're talking about, man, much later, a whole minute and a half later or something. So Regret's going to have this little timing window where his Banelings and Zerglings are going to be incredibly effective. Look at this bank of Zerglings in Regret's main.
Yeah, he's trying to keep these out of vision of the Overlords. He doesn't want to put them out on the map until they have speed, and here they go. Now the Overlords see them, but this is going to give PigBenis a little bit of kind of like a time where he's like, oh crap, now I've got tons of Zerglings coming out of my base. Regret's at 52 supply versus the 53 of PigBenis, who is just now starting 18 Zerglings. The Zergling count is at 38 to nothing. There are only these Banelings here to save Pig's base from these Zerglings, but like I just said, this armor is specifically in play to allow these Zerglings to withstand Baneling hits, and look at how many are still left. But that round of Zerglings 4, Pig does finish in time, and that Spinecrawler and good SimCity is allowing those queens to do a lot of extra damage to these Zerglings. So a good hold from Pig so far, but here comes the Banelings of Regret. A good detonation kills a lot of drones and a queen, but it does look like the swell of Zerglings and the closer reinforcement time for Pig is going to allow him to hold this attack. But how many drones did he lose in that attack? He lost 9 drones in that attack, which does of course which is equalizing, actually, the drone count for both players. But now Pig is actually getting that third base down a lot sooner. So this was a really nice hold for him. If he can actually maintain this this position that he's in, he should be in a comfortable position going into the mid game. All
right, well, +1 armor is finished for both players now. Regret not, well, he did hit that timing very well, but oh, actually Baneling's coming back into the main here. They might actually get that queen on accident. I'm not sure. A lot more Zerglings coming in. Pig making more lings on his own. And it looks like these Banelings might... No, not going to crack the main mineral line here. And actually, Regret... I don't know if he's going to do enough damage here either. He's still making lings at home. Doesn't have that third base on the way. Just using all of his money for units. And the longer Pig holds this off, the further ahead he can possibly get.
Yeah, Regret is really going all in with this. At this point, he knows that his opponent has that third hatchery down. He cannot afford to let up on this aggression. He's throwing down a third hatchery of his own, but that is a third hatchery in his main. He's not going to stop this attack, and he's really going to rely on, can Pig keep this up? Can he force Pig to miss his injects? He's already missing plenty of injects using those queens for defense as opposed to using them actually on the hatchery. So this is going to give Regret a lot of additional larva. But again, the drone count for Pig is higher. He's at 35 drones versus the 25, or 31 drones, excuse me, to the 25 of his opponent. That does give him a slight economic lead, and he does have that third hatchery down. So the longer that Pig can hold this off, and the longer that he can keep his opponent from just throwing Zerglings at him, the better off he's going to be. But what I would really love to see from PigBenis right now is a Roach Warren. If he could somehow manage to get Roaches at the top of his ramp, that will really increase his defender's advantage, holding these swell of Zerglings off as they continue to come.
And you did talk about the larva count, but keep in mind there is a third hatchery here for Pig over his opponent, so he does have that additional larva, even if the injects are not perfect. More Spinecrawlers coming down at the bottom of the natural ramp to help hold this off just a little bit longer, and Regret with a ton of Zerglings trying to crush through again, but Pig again with 30+ lings in production, probably going to be able to hold this off. I'd like to see a couple more queens be produced all at the same time. If he has extra transfusions, they stay alive so much longer, but I don't know if this is going to be quite enough.
Regret is trying to target down those queens. He did kill both of them at the natural expansion, but there is still that third queen over at the third phase like you were talking about earlier, Buddha. And I just think at this point, Regret's not going to be able to actually make this work. There are just so many Zerglings out for his opponent now. The Zergling count is now at 28 to 21. With 15 Banelings in production for Pig.
Wow.
I do think that Regret actually will be able to get this hatchery down, but the counterattack from Pig, I think, will just be too much. And Pig is definitely going to counterattack from this. There's no doubt about it. There's only one Spinecrawler down for Regret versus the 3 that are down for, or the 2 that are down, excuse me, for Pig. That third one was destroyed.
This huge trap going down for Pig right now as he's trying to get to all the Zerglings of Regret.
Oh, nice initial Baneling hit. A couple Zerglings do go down, but that is a lot of Banelings, and Regret does not really have a lot of his own. Only 6 Banelings in production now versus the 14 of PigBenis that are just now moving down the map, but careful. He cannot allow those Banelings of Regret to detonate on his. That would be a huge loss for him. But Pig is now getting into the natural expansion. He's trying to pick off that queen, but nice micro from Regret, keeping that queen alive. Here come the Banelings of Regret that are being targeted down by those Banelings. But here comes the additional Banelings of PigBenis. He's trying to get some additional hits off, and he just managed to get those Banelings into the mineral line. That will do it, but I don't even think that's going to be necessary. The Zerglings have breached the defenses of Regret. They are in the drone line. A lot of drones are going down. There's a huge swell of Zerglings being produced at those hatcheries, but I don't think it's enough. I think there's been too much damage caused already.
Well, let's take a look. 32 more lings are on the way for Regret, but his drone count currently sitting at only 12 to the 19 of Pig. Pig's base is actually under siege by a bunch of Zerglings that counterattack from Regret here, so we have a little bit of a base trade going on. I'm not sure how many lings does each player have. 30, 20 to 20 now. Only 3 drones left for Regret though, as all of his lings or drones, join the fight, and Pig actually doing a good job of focusing them down. The supplies right now 34 to 14, but only 2 Zerglings left for Pig. Oh, never mind. That's because he's making 15 Banelings.
Yeah. Pig is definitely in a much better position here. He has 19 drones versus only the 2 of Regret, and I think once Regret realizes that all those Banelings are actually there, there's literally actually no way for him to win. There's 1 Baneling for every Zergling of Regret, and once Pig manages to kill off these last remaining Zerglings, I think Regret is going to be forced to GG out. He is down to 7 supply. He sees those remaining Banelings. There are 10 more Zerglings in production for Pig. This counterattack is not going to be holdable from Regret. He's going to be forced to exit this game in just a moment. But a really, really nice back and forth fight between these 2 players. Neither one willing to give an inch. Both players just hammering away at each other. But unfortunately, it was Regret, the aggressor, who fell in that game number 2. So we're going to be moving on to game number 3 in this best of 3 series between these 2 players. That was pretty intense, Buddha.
That was the sickest Baneling Zergling fight I have ever seen. Like, it was so long. It took forever, but I'm so happy it took forever. Like, how many Zerglings died in that game? Let's actually take a look. Units trained on each side is over 300. Nobody got over like the 60 supply mark at any point in time. It was oh my 230.
God. Regret killed 232 units in that game. PigBenis killed 281. That was a 15-minute game of just non-stop back and forth Zergling massacres. That was a bloodbath of Zerg if I have ever seen one. Those inner fights within the Hive Swarm are indeed bloody, and those 2 players, though, are just, they are intense.
All right.